What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ladies Who Bronche. I am Julissa.
What's up, everybody? This is Skittles, and today we are very excited to have Joe Endozo, an old high school friend of ours who went to LaGuardia, who is currently out in LA working as a music producer. Yeah. What a lot of people don't know is that Joe has done a vast majority of the music for Skittles Music TV on my YouTube channel, and so it's awesome to have him come on the podcast and have people get to know Joe. Who the fuck are you?
I would like to get to know myself too. I think you guys are gonna help me out. I sit around all by myself all day producing music, like you said. I don't get to talk to my friends as often as I would like to, so this is an ideal day.
Nice. Yes, and we are really excited to have you here. We've known you since LaGuardia, so that means that you were doing music stuff since like high school and probably earlier. So what were like Joe's early like music years?
I already knew I wanted to do exactly what I'm doing now since I was like in 6th grade. I knew my first dream was to go to Berkeley.
We a lot of us had that.
Yeah,
dream
we both applied.
Yeah,
and it was too damn expensive.
Too expensive. I didn't get in the first time. I got in the second time I auditioned.
Nice.
And I still couldn't go because it was too expensive.
Yeah,
and they don't have a good retention rate because they're too expensive. So
that's right.
What's up? Like, do y'all want students or not? Like,
seriously, especially with like the likes of like they have Lauryn Hill on their successful alumni.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Like, I think she only went for like a couple of semesters, but
the best
they
do.
Still,
the best do sounds like all of the LaGuardians who like the most successful ones like didn't fully finish. Like Al Pacino did not finish. Azalea Banks did not finish.
No.
Did Nikki finish?
I think she did.
Nikki
I think
finished.
she
Atta
did.
girl.
Yeah,
she
atta
did
girl. Yeah. She
finish.
Jen Aniston probably.
Yeah, Jen Aniston.
Yeah, we had a few good ones. But then how do you find LaGuardia?
I went to a magnet middle school for the arts, and I was in the music program there, and a lot of my friends there also went to LaGuardia.
Nice.
So that was the path.
And then when you got to LaGuardia, what did you major in?
What did I? Music.
Yes, obviously music. I know you for playing the guitar.
Right.
But that was in the music singers.
No, yeah. I couldn't audition with guitar. I think I did though, but I played trumpet my first year.
Yo.
Nice.
I was 4th trumpet in any band. I was 4th trumpet in middle school, 3rd trumpet in freshman year, and but I stuck to it.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm not 1st trumpet, but I'm first me.
Yay.
Yes. So like my first memories of you getting to work with you were in New Music Singers. We obviously had other classes together. When did you start? For the people who don't know, New Music Singers was a class for songwriting.
Yeah.
When did you start writing music?
6th grade. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I remember I made I started writing songs around then, and I bought myself like a 4-track cassette recorder, and that's how I first recorded myself.
Nice.
Just overdubbing and onto cassette tape, and eventually I made like an album in like 7th grade.
What was it called?
Waiting for Something.
Hey, that is the most 7th grade emotional shit I've ever heard.
Last time I went back home, I found that CD. I sold it to all my friends and stuff and teachers.
How much? How much for the mixtape?
I don't know, $7 maybe.
Wow, damn!
I mean,
expensive. $5.
I made more than now, I think.
Word.
Yeah, it was direct to me. There's no funneling
of the money. All $7.
But I listened back to that record and I feel the same way still.
Oh,
I haven't changed. I was like, I'm still waiting for something.
Yes,
still waiting for something. We're all still waiting for something.
All still waiting for.
I think back then I was waiting for the bus.
Yeah.
I was saying about waiting for like the bus to take me home after school. I don't know, but right now
funny.
There's no bus. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Something spectacular. I bet.
Spectacular.
So then you graduate from LaGuardia and you go to Purchase.
Right, SUNY Purchase, State University of New York.
Great school.
Amazing school. I loved being there. I'm still friends with a lot of people that I met through there, so it was worthwhile.
Yeah.
It was a worthwhile time.
Word. And so after you got to Purchase, so, we'll get into later a bit of your story and how you got here. But I want to learn a little bit more about Joe and your bronche habits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So, Joe, what is your favorite brunch plate?
it would be some type of egg dish.
How do you like your egg
Scramble that egg up.
Yeah, you like scrambled?
4 eggs, 3 eggs. The more,
The merrier.
the
The more
merrier.
eggs, the merrier.
You gotta eat eggs.
Yeah.
If you're vegan, eat eggs.
That's
Don't
funny.
don't skip the eggs.
Eggs are honestly, like, not for nothing. I really do love eggs. I love eating eggs prepared in several different ways.
I have a certain affinity to hard-boiled eggs. I don't know why.
really
love
like hard-boiled.
eggs.
I love deviled eggs. Like,
Yes, deviled eggs. I love deviled eggs too.
I love potato salad, Dominican style with the eggs.
Yes,
stuffed
with the
up
eggs in it. That's Dominican style because okay, we were just talking about
Latinx style.
Latinx.
Okay, we're not gonna do this whole it's Puerto Rican, it's Dominican. Next thing Joe's gonna jump and say it's Filipino.
It's Filipino.
I don't know, but the potato salads that include egg to me are top notch potato salad. I love me a good egg salad sandwich.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have you had there's deviled egg potato salad?
Yes, I have. It's delicious.
I haven't had that.
It's really
Joe's
good.
like,
It's really good.
Not my
I want to be in
passion.
your corner of heaven right now.
But yeah, I fuck with eggs hard. So, what is your favorite brunch drink to wash the eggs down with?
Oh, just a pitcher of coffee is all.
Oh, really? So you're a big pitcher person? I think a pitcher person, coffee
Pitcher.
person.
No,
You're a big picture person. As I hold up a picture.
But you know
of
what?
fresh lemonade.
But you know where I
You gotta
trip
think the
up?
big picture.
Right, because there are brunch places where you can order mini pitchers instead of like a drink. So in my head, I'm like, oh, you're a person who orders a pitcher to themselves, but I really meant to say coffee. So you're a
Yeah.
big coffee person over alcohol at a brunch.
Over pitchers. I'm definitely addicted to coffee
Nice. What's
more
your-
than pitchers.
Do you have like a real affinity for coffee? Like, are you a coffee snob? Do you know like good shit about coffee? Because to me,
No,
a lot of
no.
it tastes the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's my preference. I prefer coffee to just taste the same. I love it. I love you, coffee. I don't care how you're like soaked. I don't care if you were in a jacuzzi, while you were brewing and you're like ultra special because you're from Guatemala. I just like you because you're you.
Because you're you. Coffee for coffee.
An ode to coffee.
And ode to
7-Eleven coffee.
What are we waiting
Fine.
for?
I'm fine.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Waiting for something.
What are you waiting for? It's coffee.
Coffee.
We've unlocked it. That's
Yes.
it.
That's my next
Party
record.
done. We've
Yeah.
done our job here, guys. All right. So what was it like going out to eat as a kid?
Going out to eat? Oh. For brunch?
Or just in general, like young Joe, someone says we're going out to eat. What was that like? Where do we go?
Oh, well, I grew up in Staten Island, New York. So south Bronx. As south as you can get.
As south as you
Until
possibly
it doesn't look
can
like
get.
the Bronx.
Right.
But almost feels like the South.
Yeah.
Right.
So that part is true.
Staten Island really does feel like the South.
An Italian restaurant over there, a really nice pizzeria.
Wait, I think I went to that with you. Did I? I
Did
don't
we
know.
go?
I feel like I went to
the
a pizza place
They
with
closed
you.
it down.
Oh my god,
I'm so sad.
that was really good.
Yeah, I took all my friends there.
Nice. So it was like was it a whole like family affair? Were you guys like, was that like the special spot?
Oh yeah, I put on my best hat and my Sunday shoes. Well, it was after church sometimes,
Yeah.
so I was dressed nicely.
Yeah. To get some good ass pizza.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And Italian ices afterwards. So that's the Staten Island
Ooh.
go-to
Nice.
staple.
What's your flavor?
Italian ice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably like a I'm really boring. It's like vanilla or something.
No, there's a thing. So do you get the ones that it's like frozen icy and ice cream as well?
The custard, like Rita's,
like in New Jersey,
Rita's water ice.
Do they have those, or is it just like water ice?
I think they might have those. I don't remember, but I always got the water ice.
The water ice,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because I feel like I've always been like fruit punch.
Yeah.
Italian ices. But then when you get introduced to Rita's, it's like creamier and less water and ice.
Yeah, I like it. I dig it.
I like the creamier Rita's ices too.
Yeah.
But I know that I always did like a fruit punch. I think it might have been because I wanted red lips. You know, like.
I love that. Yeah, it was your lipstick. You literally used to pick certain flavors to stain your lips the color. I 100%.
Right, and how you eat it.
I
trying to do a man meat to get it in the line.
Yeah, even with fruit roll-ups, like sucking on the right color of the fruit roll-ups. Trying to do the tongue. Remember tongue tattoos?
Yes.
I'm not a tattoo guy.
I don't have one either, but I remember those tongue tattoos. I used to want to get it right so bad.
Right.
Anyway, so what is your favorite bochinche topic to discuss at the brunch table? What do you like to talk about?
Well, it depends on who I'm with, right? So, am I with family or friends?
Wherever you find yourself.
If I'm with family, it's just, catching up on remembering the old times.
The good old times.
The good old times.
Yeah.
Why can't it be more like the good old times?
I find that when that happens with my family a lot of embarrassing stories come up about my youth. Do you have like one story that your parents tell over and over again at like family gatherings about you?
It's probably one that I also say. It's when I crashed the car at 4 years old.
Oh, can we hear that story?
Well, when you're a kid, you're trying to you're learning. You're a sponge. And I just wanted to be like mommy and daddy, and with mommy and daddy, they sat. Mommy and daddy. My mom and dad, my mother and father, when they
grown ass man talking about mommy and daddy.
Mommy and daddy.
I gotta update the story. That's how I told it when I was like 6.
Yes. So your mother and your father. Then
I just copied what they did. They took the jingly metal thing, and they sat up front, and they put it into the thing under the wheel.
Yeah.
That is shaped like many kids' toys.
Right.
So I mimicked that, and I started the car one day, and I had my sister with me in the passenger seat, and I live on a busy street on Staten Island, and I remember we rolled out of the driveway, and we crashed into a van, and the next memory was like my mom like screaming, like and like and I'm like, why are you mad?
Oh my God.
I did a fun thing.
Yeah.
And then the cops came, assessed, and I remember that the damage on that car, right? Till to this day.
The ass whooping you would have gotten if it were my family.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. At 4, don't even care.
and I had my 3-year-old sister next to me.
The ass whooping of your life at 4, and you would have never learned to drive from the trauma that would have gone into your veins.
My sister hasn't learned how to drive yet, but I did, and I think I've overcame that trauma. So.
Yeah.
This lemonade right now.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about this lemonade we're drinking, Juan?
So this lemonade is poppin'. It was brought to you by Joe Endozo. Limondozo. His backyard lemon tree, which for those of you watching is right behind us.
Yo, these lemons are literally like the size of oranges. Some of them. It's incredible. It's a beautiful tree.
We should get one just for the. Let me grab one.
We're gonna get this demo.
They won't believe you.
I'll reach you.
How big?
I'll reach and get it.
Okay, you got it. Yeah, you're closer.
I'll Vanna White this. So what's happening here is, I think this one's closer already. So, these lemons are quite huge. They're literally the sizes of oranges. And so you could make a whole pitcher, with just a couple of these.
And it's so good.
How often do you make lemonade, Joe?
Not too often. Not too often. Most of these lemons go to waste.
No way.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of like selling them at like a farmer's market or some shit?
No, I haven't. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, I feel like I'd make that money however I could. We'd be eating lemon every motherfucking thing if I had that tree in my house.
Yeah.
Except for lemon cake.
My mom is like, look at me, I buy lemons. Look at me like a fool. I'm buying lemons. You have your own lemon tree.
My family would kill to have a lemon tree. Also because like lemon is so good for you, like not to go on a sidebar, but lemon is so healing.
It is.
And so drinking it even in a glass of water a day, like just one lemon in a glass of water a day does so much for your body. If you get sick, like this is like, and whatever it's called, an anti-inflammatory, a lot of shit, antibacterial. So it's really good for your stomach. So everybody should eat more lemons if you don't already.
Lemonade.
Very good for you. Dope. So now we're going to move into our cheers to the ladies who, where we shout out people doing dope shit. So, Joe, you went to a rally yesterday. Why don't you tell us about this little rally you was at?
Oh, it was a wonderful rally for the Democratic presidential candidate, Andrew Yang.
Tell us a little bit about Andrew.
Well, first of all, I don't like him just because he's Asian.
Let's clear the air right now.
Clear the air. There's more things.
Yeah.
Probably the smartest candidate as far as I'm concerned, and offers a vision that I can get behind. And I'm not a political guy.
Yeah.
I am not. I'm very quiet.
Yeah.
I do my part. But I'm very quiet about it.
Yeah.
But this guy, this Yang guy, is making me loud.
Yeah.
He's making me loud.
What about him? So, like, what are some of the things on his platforms that he, like, sort of talks about? Or if, like, there's, like, a main focus. Like, when people talk about Bernie, and they try to, like, sort of exaggerate it, they're like, he basically is, like, trying to push some sort of socialism onto this country, which obviously is an exaggerated thing, but he's known for that. But what is, like, Andrew known for? What is the platform that he's running on?
He has, he has a lot of policies that he's conjured up. He has about like 90, probably the most any candidate has, and very clear plans. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's not a politician at heart.
Gotcha.
He's a problem solver at heart. So he has a long list of policies, but the main one is the freedom dividend. Are you familiar with it?
I was gonna say I'm not familiar. What's that?
It is a rebranding of universal basic income. Have you heard of UBI, universal basic income?
I've heard some on it, but tell me a little more.
The idea about universal basic income is that as a right of citizenship, your country owes you
X amount of dollars a year.
Yeah, for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And there's some countries have done that. There's one state already in America that does that. Alaska.
I was gonna say, is it Alaska? Yeah.
Alaska does that for about like 37 years. They've done that, and that's a deep red state.
Right.
It was passed by a Republican governor.
Right.
So it's tried and true, I think.
Yeah.
So the freedom dividend, Andrew Yang's offer is $1,000 a month. When you turn 18, $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. No questions asked. It's not taxable. It's money for you to do whatever you want
rent,
with it.
That could be groceries.
That's right.
Car payment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Car repair. And you can just let your imagination run wild with it.
And would this money would come from like tax dollars, I suppose, in general?
Yes, it would be value added tax, VAT tax, focused on the big technological companies, Netflix, Amazon, companies like that.
Gotcha.
companies who currently pay $0 in federal tax.
And federal taxes, yeah. I was gonna say a lot of these
Yeah.
companies don't even pay taxes. Like these big major companies, it's like how do they get away with that? So
Right.
it sounds like a way to sort of reclaim that money
Right.
because it's like billions.
So what it is, it's like as a citizen, you're getting you're like a shareholder to the country,
Right.
Whose main export is technology, and so for every Google search, for every Facebook ad, everybody gets a sliver
Right.
of that.
Right. Interesting.
For every self-driving car mile, you know, it takes it back and brings it back to the people. So
No, that's super cool. I don't know much. I don't know too much about his platform. There's been so many Dems that have come forward, you know, and announced their run for presidency that it's been like hard to keep up with everyone.
Yeah.
But I do know that there's a lot of enthusiasm behind him.
absolutely, on the internet especially. I'm a big internet boy. A lot of free time.
Yeah.
And he there's a lot of excitement, and there's a lot of he's very memeable. If you just like look up hashtag Yang Gang,
the
Yang
memes,
Gang.
Can't imagine.
the memes are
The Yang
gold.
Gang got the hammer and the wrench. Nah, sorry.
Love
Looking
that.
awesome.
Awesome. So, you know, if you could like give a like quick like pitch to someone as to why they should vote for this guy. Why should we vote for Andrew Yang?
Well, without getting emotional, that'll get hard. That'll be hard. Well, I know a lot of people don't know me. They don't trust me, but trust me. I don't know. I was completely like captivated ever since I heard him on. He's been on various podcasts and interviews, and I've never seen a candidate bridging the gap between different sides of the left and right and identities. You read the comment sections.
Yeah.
You won't see a comment section that is so that is bringing people together.
Yeah.
You know, say what you want about comment sections, hell on earth for you know a lot of the internet.
Yeah.
But it's really he's really providing a vision that is that touches anybody. And, you know, $1,000 a month, Medicare for all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on the optimistic side of things, and just imagine, you know, like, you know, I know, you know, there's hell in many corners of the world in America.
Yeah.
But you have to counter it with a vision.
Yeah.
With a where do you want to go?
Yeah.
And he's very clear-minded and focused and confident, and his thing is the numbers. He's a big math guy. He sells hats that says math on it. And the crowd chants math. PowerPoint. Like literally, like yesterday
hilarious.
at the rally, he's like, at the State of the Union address, you know, it's such a weird, like, creepy, like, form of theater, you know, like that we're forced to watch.
Yeah.
But he, you know, when he's going to deliver the State of the Union address, he'll show a PowerPoint of the progress that's been made.
Right.
You know,
right.
data driven.
Yeah, I was gonna say
optimism.
data-driven optics. you know?
Optimism.
Yeah, and so what are your thoughts then on like the Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and all these folks? I know for me it's been really interesting because I'm like, everybody has found what their edge is or what the thing is that makes them like votable, and it feels like that is giving them sort of energy to enter. But I wonder if we're being strategic, like not to be like the devil's advocate of everything. Like, I'm glad that we have a lot of people running. That's what the country should be. We should have different voices who are up for grabs to sort of support. But I wonder about, it almost feels like clickbait, if that makes sense, the way that these people sort of come about. And after a while, like, there are voters who just are not trying to Google and like go to rallies and aren't going deep into the subculture. And look, I'm even calling it a subculture of like politics and understanding who we're voting for. So I do think that we run the risk with a lot of candidates of like, for example, like with Andrew Yang, like, I don't know any. I'm not even a bad thing, but like if it's just like, yeah, he's a math guy, and like so then people who are like into that are just gonna believe that, but not do their due diligence on the rest of the platform. Then that scares me. Same with the Joe Bidens and the Bernie Sanders and the Kamala Harris. Listen, Kamala Harris is a woman of color. Like I'm here for that really hard, but I don't know that means I want her to be the president of the United States. But then it also plays with the politics, like emotionally, of the voters, where it's like, but if I say that, is that fucked up? Like, is that me not supporting women of color in a time where I should just do it because we want the visibility? So I just think it's really interesting for me. So what are your thoughts on some of the other candidates, or like why you're not voting for them, or why they don't pique your interest as much?
A lot of candidates get the eye roll from me. They get the eye roll. And just I don't know. Check out Andrew Yang, how he just 20 minutes, and you'll see it's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's a different way of communicating.
Yeah.
That kind of hits home.
Yeah.
And the numbers are showing, and they're growing for him, and I'm excited.
Cool. Very cool.
In more important news.
More
important news.
No, I just thought it was interesting that on the same day that you were going to a rally for Andrew Yang, there was a band of Britney Spears fans protesting outside of City Hall in West Hollywood.
Really?
Because there's this giant conspiracy that she is being held against her will in this conservatorship at the mental health facility that she's been at. And there's this giant conspiracy that that her life was spiraling out of control, and she wasn't taking the medications that she needed to be taking, and that her camp felt that if they didn't take control, she would be dead. And so, this whole thing was that she was doing this Vegas residency. They canceled it. Apparently, there's this conspiracy that her father was like, if you don't get it together, I'm going to cancel the show. And that was him doing that. But it also begs to ask the question, like, why is this girl under a conservatorship that is usually given to people who are completely incapacitated and unable to make decisions for themselves? Like, she literally can't buy a Starbucks coffee without asking her father for permission. This has been on over 10 years, since from 2008 to 2018. However, she's been able to go on world tours, have a multi-million-dollar residency, record albums, go on TV, do interviews, but she can't.
Something right there.
Exactly. So the Britney fans have created a hashtag called Free Britney, and they were protesting outside of City Hall, literally as you were at the Andrew Yang.
Right.
Is that on Andrew's platform? Because clearly,
yo, Andrew, what you trying to do with?
How is Andrew going to support this Britney Spears, hostage situation we have going on? It's a very pressing issue in this nation. All right, so now we're going to move into our Tuta Loca
I don't know what he would do. But it'd be really funny. He's a really funny guy.
I look forward to looking into some of his stuff, actually. Getting to know him a little better. So we're going to move into our Tuta Loca Es, where we call motherfuckers out for doing the most. So there have been quite a few news stories circling back again that are demonstrating, how the value of Black lives just isn't at the stature that it needs to be at this nation. We had the case in Florida where the young man was like someone was getting arrested, and he was sort of like yelling at the cop. The cops pepper sprays him in the eye, knocks him down to the ground, beats his head into the concrete, and blows his face up, and it's somehow justifiable. It's caught on camera. The gentleman is just reassigned from his role. Then we also had down in Dallas.
There was a trans woman who was beaten horribly by like a mob of guys, and it was all caught on camera. Which we really need to like also discuss, like this culture of pulling out your camera and filming it and not actually doing something. But anyway, it was all caught on camera, and the only way that she was saved was because a group of women literally went in, pulled the guy off of her, and like grabbed an arm and dragged her off. and stuff like
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
And so there was like an arrest made, but it was a mob of guys. It wasn't just one guy. It was like several men.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in this case, it was black men
Mm-hmm.
beating on a black trans woman.
Right. Right. And I mean, because the issue is so layered, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's within our community, but then also outside of our community. And black churches are burning. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, Notre Dame, you know,
Mm-hmm.
burned down, but like, so have several black churches, and the way that they were able to raise millions of dollars just like within hours of the fire, and the fact that Flint still hadn't had clean water at that point, and it seems like the sort of like highlighting of that, for some reason the timeliness of it just like allowed for some changes to be happening finally in Flint. But like it just sort of like begs the question, like, did we like pause the fact that like black lives need to matter a little more? Like, I feel like we haven't touched, the issue hasn't been on the high end of anyone's agenda again, and things are still happening, and like you said, there's a lot of recording happening, and so what we're looking at is like a way that we are able to now just have these things happen. They'll happen for a second, and then we just have these videos that exist, and it's like evergreen trauma. Like, it is now recorded and relived, but we don't go back to these victims. We don't go back to the scene of these crimes, and we don't really try to understand, is the community okay? Like, the things that we're witnessing happening sort of on the fly are pretty fucking traumatic. So, but we are not treating it like traumatic situations. Like, hey, fucking Katrina, there's still trauma from Katrina. I don't care how long ago that happened. There's still people whose lives suffered some severe trauma because of that, and we don't think about those people anymore. We don't. Like, you know what I mean? We're talking about Flint, and even Flint is like long overdue with help. And then what about the 10 other things that we just haven't recorded yet, or we haven't decided to tackle? So yeah, I don't know. It's just overwhelming, I think, at this point. Joe, I don't know how you...
Well, here's the thing with Andrew Yang. Imagine like $1,000 a month. A lot of people hear about the issues, right? And they sort of write it down. It's like, all right, I'm gonna think about that. Let's solve that. But they don't have enough energy to really do it, right? To really, because it takes a tremendous amount of energy. And on top of like, even if you're living in a way that your own life energy is being sucked out, whether it's your work or school or just like even like a bad relationship, it sucks out energy. Like there's an infinite number of energy vampires out there. What's cool about Andrew Yang is like, imagine $1,000 a month, how much energy you get back that you don't have to fight. It's like he describes it as like getting the it's like a boot being lifted off your neck, and once you get to like sort of a baseline, there's a psychological change that happens, when you feel you don't have to fight for your life every day, every month. And so what happens is you start to focus that energy towards social issues and your communities. You don't have to fight for your just own survival.
Yeah, and I think that the other side of that is also like, how do we hold people accountable into the way that they have to like treat each other? So like alleviating these communities, but also like a lot of the issues, or like the dude who beat that woman like might be falling on some hard times, and his frustration of life overall, having to have financial struggles, could lead to that sort of toxic behavior. Maybe, sure, we can make that line, but like, how do we hold people accountable to just not treat people like shit when it's not about your socioeconomic status, and it's just about human to human? Like, I see you and you're a black person, and I think the value of your life is at this level, and thus I will treat you this way. There's so much to be said about that, and I think that maybe that's even why for me I haven't settled on a candidate, is because I'm like, it's a hard sort of intangible thing to tackle, but I think at the core it's such an important thing, because we can have the funds, and then what? There was a time where there was a really big thriving black economy like that they don't teach us about back in the day, and like cities were literally burned to the ground because they were wealthy black cities. And that came from a place of hate and not from a place of our community not having resources to work with. So it's just interesting. There's so many layers to this shit.
It's very complex.
It's very complex. So Joe, let's move into you a little bit.
What do you want to know?
So now we're going to talk about our topic, from New York to LA. So, we're out here in LA from New York. We're a long ways from home.
I miss my pizza.
Yeah, New York pizza,
and my water ice.
Right, yes, better.
And apparently Mexican food.
Yeah, somebody was telling us.
Somebody told us that LA does not have good Mexican food, which is the exact opposite of what I've always heard.
Sounds like a joke.
Yeah.
Sounds
untrue.
untrue.
Where it's at for Mexican food.
San Diego?
Yeah. So, which might be a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe. But either way, like, we're a long ways from home right now. And we're here for the same reasons a lot of people come here. There's people to meet, projects to be worked on. And, like, it's almost like if you don't come out to LA, then are you even in the game? Like, there's this thing around LA. But coming from New York and from Staten Island, which is not, like, it's New York, and it's just like even more so a different pocket of New York. Where did it all begin? So, like, Joe, we talked a little bit at the top of the show about your beginnings, but, like, really truly, you get into school and you do college stuff, you leave Purchase. Like, what was Joe's next steps to really, like, kicking off what brought you here to LA?
Well, after graduating, I didn't do too much. I stayed in New York for 3 years. I lived at home. I worked part-time at an after-school program. Playing live sometimes and still writing. But I was definitely pulled into LA. I was like you guys know, you guys got pulled here. You guys
Right.
There's a little devil tongue in an LA person. It's like, oh, when you moving out here?
Yeah, literally.
When you moving out here? You should move out here. Everything's happening here.
Yeah.
So that freaked me out.
Yeah.
Now it freaks me out because it's such a thing. But I want to make my voice heard.
Yeah.
Don't leave New York. New York's the best. New York's the best.
Really let people know, because I tell people that
honestly,
shit all the time. Ain't nowhere better than New York. Like,
I'm very biased, of course.
Oh.
And I've experienced a lot of love in New York from you guys and a lot of friends and family. So I have, there's a lot of gravity there. No. But the idea of like, the idea of like, you have to leave one of the greatest cities ever.
Right, to make it.
To make it is kind of like a trap in a way. And for a lot of people it is. Because the nobody wins in LA. Very few people win. You sort of just play the game. So for me, it's been like, okay, I want to have LA experiences in my life. Mm-hmm. So I've had a variety of LA experiences that I wouldn't have had in New York.
Like what? What are some of those experiences?
Oh, well, just like this crap.
Just this whole fucking pool
going to the beach and hiking, all the LA things.
Right.
Mexican food, just on and on. Also, like hustling in a different city. Coming here knowing only few people, but I was like going to open mics every week to make friends and perform and so just like do the hustle. So it's been interesting. Do it. Move to LA for the challenge, know. Well, the main idea is like, figure out what's the hardest thing that you could do that you feel like is within your ability. And for me, fortunately, it was like I had the opportunity to come out here. I had some connections and was able to do things.
Yeah.
So.
And so, like, when you first got here, like, what were some of the challenges that you faced?
The main one that just comes up to mind is homesickness. And no one really talks about it because it hurts.
Right.
Especially for me, growing up in a Filipino family, and it's just like I felt like I'm doing a very selfish thing, and I'm willing to sacrifice. You know, this is my third year. You know, I'll sacrifice 3 years of family time, but at the same time, I've been able to keep in touch and see people, and I have some family out here, but it's just like it really breaks your heart in a way.
What were your parents' reaction when you were leaving? Were they super supportive?
Oh,
Was it
super
like-
supportive. My dad drove me out here.
Nice. Nice.
He was like, yeah, go for it,
Yeah.
go for it. And when he dropped me off, we went. I stayed over a good friend of mine, and they're like one of their neighbors is like this psychedelic motorcycle riding like hippie guy, and my dad's like reaction to meeting him is like, wow, this is really LA. It's like, okay, you're gonna be around this, okay.
Nice.
You got it.
Awesome.
Got it.
So, is there anything that like New York versus LA, which city has influenced your work the most?
New York. The main themes in my music is about home, and about like finding home, leaving home. I mean, I think a lot of music does that. It's like
Right.
you wanna. It's the hero's journey, you know. So I guess the main thing between like New York and LA is like, what's your hero's journey? You know, what's the most heroic thing you can do, and aim for that.
Yeah.
And that can happen in New York. You know, there's plenty of like heroic adventures you can have there, and I think about my own over there. And I miss it, so.
Yeah. Dope.
So I was just thinking as you were speaking how fun it would be to just kind of ask you a bunch of different like New York versus LA questions.
Oh, sure.
And the first one that comes to mind is Shake Shack or In-N-Out?
Shake Shack. In-N-Out can go to hell.
Oh, right. You heard it here.
All right.
Tastes
What
like
about oh my God. Fuck, I had it in my head just now. In-N-Out, Shake Shack. There's something else that we have in
Well, I would say nightlife here. 'Cause
Nightlife.
Nightlife here or New York.
Oh, I have more fun in New York for sure.
Yeah. I've experienced that the last time I was out in LA. I was like, this is not as lit as New York.
I feel bad. I feel like I'm hating on LA for no reason. Well, you guys are like enjoying yourselves, but no.
But I think it also comes from the fact that you literally have spent 3 years living out here, whereas our experience has always been a weekend or a
Right.
week or
Right.
Yeah.
we always get that like relief of going back. And I think me personally, like thinking about like the projects that I work on and the relationships that we've been able to kind of like finesse across the country have been amazing and have been great to kind of being given the opportunity to be out here so often.
Right.
But that's always the question for me of like, would I really be able to survive out here? Like you're talking to a 28-year-old man who like does not have his license,
Yeah.
you know, and that's a huge deal in LA.
Right.
I ride the orange horse, the iron horse, you know, with my good old Metro card
Your Metro card. Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's always kind of like as an artist wondering.
I helped
what
a
if.
friend of mine. He was like 33 at the time. Learn to drive here. He grew up in New York. He didn't know how to drive, so he had to learn here.
Yeah.
And he was
That shit's really real. And I think like obviously New York versus LA, I think the weather in LA is 10, like a million times
Yeah.
better
I mean,
than New York weather.
Yeah.
it's pretty
The
nice.
beaches are way better.
Beaches.
Like, I think a lot of what you said about
Tacos?
things yeah, I mean, not to say I haven't had some banging ass tacos in New York, because I have, but like you have to
Yeah.
be knowing the spots. You can't just go into any place and get banging tacos in New York. But I do think that the differences.
Yeah, you just have to know what year it is here, or know what day it is, like, and
Yeah.
you can find a good taco.
A good taco anywhere. And I honestly, I think that having the access to nature and different like elements of activities that you just don't get in New York, like lends itself for a different balance and experience that I think is important as an artist to have a moment of that.
Right.
When you think of stuff like that, like taking in the elements of like nature and the fact that it's always sunny over here, do you find yourself that you were happier here, even though you are dealing with the homesickness of not being in New York?
Well, I guess most of it is like, you know, I'm a single guy in LA, and it's just like, this is nice, but it would be better if it was shared with someone else.
Oh, but you talking about a boo.
That's a whole nother thing.
That's another
so what
thing.
you're really trying to say is LA is cute, but it's cuter if you had a boo.
That's right. When I did the cross-country road trip with my dad, he like turned to me and was like, you know, I wish your mom was here.
Aww.
Like instead, you know. Like you're fun on a car ride, Joe, but I want my wife here.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him.
So what's going on in the love life of Joe Endozo?
Oh, not too much here in LA. It's I'm just been head in the game, focus, trying to just go on my hikes and just like how lonely can I get? That's the game I'm playing.
Mm-hmm. You don't be on the dating. You don't be on Tinder.
No.
What are your opinions on dating apps?
It's not the story that I want for me. You know. You
want to be riding in the sunset with your son and look at him and tell him, "I wish
your mother was
here."
Again,
your mother.
I'm a huge optimist, and I've manifested pretty like cool things in my life. Finding a girl in real life is not that far off from my imagination,
right.
And it excites me more. I think it be.
That's sweet. I definitely say all the time, I'm like, damn, I'm 28. Like, I'm out here trying to make this happen, but I would not mind having a man by my side while I was doing it. Just so when I come home and I'm like, you know, recording was annoying. Like, the equipment was acting appropriately. Like, make me feel better. Like, I definitely could use some relationship in my life, so I understand.
I just want to show a girl my stuff.
Oh, you want to play me? He wants somebody to sit in the sandbox with him so he could show him the toys. Show them the toys.
These are my favorite things.
Yeah.
These are all my favorite things. And make sweet, sweet music with them.
That's right.
And drink lemonade and lay in the pool.
Yeah.
He's right. LA is a cute situation for a relationship, for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's also fun to be sad here because it's so sunny.
It's also fun to be sad here.
It's really fun to be sad here. It's like, oh, I'm feeling depressed today. I'm gonna go to the park.
Right.
Just have a nice day.
Right, and you can like try to have a nice day.
This is my last question.
Sure.
What do you notice, and it's kind of popped up in your interactions with people, even though they're not romantically, whether it be artistically or whatever? What are the differences between having interactions with people from New York and then having interactions with people who are from here?
It's fun. I like figuring out the game of conversation. Sometimes I feel I'm too weird. You know, sometimes I come at LA people like with a little like the gas pedal is already like too hard, pressed down too hard. So I dial it back, and because my whole thing with conversation is like I just want to make people laugh, also cry if I'm playing like music or dance. You know, I just want that type of that reaction. So like trying to make an LA person laugh is funny because they don't get sarcasm. I don't think.
That actually kind of makes sense.
New York sarcasm is a shared language.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
do you find that conversations are more transactional in LA than they are just like pleasant, good old conversations?
A little bit. Oh, I try to demolish that as soon as I can. It's like, oh, you want something from me? All right. Well, no, this is what I want to talk about.
Right.
I want to talk about you, my friend.
Yeah.
I want to know who you are. I don't want to know what you do. I want to know who you are.
So. Nice. Awesome. So that sounds like when you spit in games. So moving into our Dame Luz, right, where you give us some light on something. I personally, for whatever reason, have never been with a Filipino papi. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know, like, what the flavor is. I don't know what the traditions are. But Joe, like, what is the flow, right, of a
Filipino who's trying to bag a girl, bag a woman, or
a person,
whatever your preference is.
Filipino bagging people.
Yes.
How do we do that? What's the swag? Because Dominican dudes, for example,
Yes.
are like known for spitting this game and being all smooth and whatever, but really they're lying and they're all players. So like, what's the Filipino thing?
I don't know if Filipinos are players. I certainly am not. I don't think. Let me know if I'm a fuck boy. I don't want to. Because I wouldn't know. But Filipino boys, it's hard to know. I feel like I'm not a stereotypical Filipino boy. I'm very like, I don't know.
Can you speak to what the stereotype is in your culture, or not?
Not really. I think I just see. I'm thinking about the people in my life, and everyone has like these individual experiences, and I love them all. So that's my main takeaway. Is just like, if a Filipino guy will love you.
Oh.
I love that.
Yeah. And make me pancit.
That's right.
I fucking love pancit. And what is that egg roll with the maduros in it?
Egg roll?
Yeah. It's like I think it's a dessert that you guys make. Yeah. Is that what it's called? That it has
probably.
plátanos, plantains in it, sweet ones.
Yeah.
And it's like rolled in an egg roll type dough, fried.
The best. The best.
Oh my God.
The best. My mom always says like, "Oh, the Americans love this dish."
It's called what?
Lumpia.
Lumpia.
Nice. Let me see. I was like, sweet rice balls? No.
No.
Anyway, I'll look for it later. Just curious.
Tyrone. That's it. Tyrone.
Tyrone.
Turon.
Nice.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Tyrone.
Yeah, that really looks delicious. Looks like a good brunch little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I would think so too. Because then they put like a certain syrup over it too or something like that, right?
Yeah. I've made those before. Nice. So, yeah, if you're looking for a Filipino boy to make you a little Tyrone.
There you go.
Yes.
And some lemonade.
And some lemonade with some pancit. Don't forget the pancit.
And he got a pool.
I got some pancit. I have some Easter pancit in my fridge right now. I guess I'm more Filipino than I thought I was.
Awesome. Well, Joe, thank you so much for being here with us today.
It's my pleasure.
Tell us where we can find you on social media.
On Instagram only at Joe Endozo. JoeEndozo. And I have a website, joeendozo.com, where you can see my music stuff.
And what are you working on right now musically?
I work with a partner of mine. We call ourselves Hot Fun.
Yes.
I'd say actually it's like whimsical disco. Nice. So it's fun, awesome. And we're working on our first album.
Amazing. Does it have a name yet?
It is. I'm not gonna say it just
Cold
yet.
Boredom.
Secret.
Yeah.
Cold Boredom. No. Okay.
All right. And you
Coldplay.
Coldplay.
You can find us at Ladies Who Bronche on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find us at Ladies Bronche on Twitter. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
This has been my favorite day.
Oh, yes.
Yes. We're about to go jump into this pool right now.
I think so.
Into this pool, and until next time, Bronche.